Okay.
see.
Well, let's so hello, this is our video for the EC 3140 Embedded Systems project.
Today we're going to be stepping through the code of our pedometer here.
Yeah, just do a brief overview of the project.
Okay, so at this point, this for loop here is essentially going to run forever, and it's going to constantly pull the accelerometer and evaluate the number of steps in a given interval, and then it's going to be adding those up over time, which the code doesn't actually do right now, by the way. I'll be adding up those numbers over time to get a total step count.
Yeah.
And we can see right here, as it begins to pull the accelerometer, and we can maybe take a step or two, or simulate one.
We'll do one step.
Our wire is a little short for...
Yeah. You can't actually walk around, but there's that corresponds to not moving.
And this is just one window that it would evaluate steps within, and then that would repeat again.
Yeah.
And
We currently have 128 points for a like specific reason to do a fast Fourier transform later, but we're probably not going to get to that part.
And so what's going to happen here is that we have another section of code that's going to evaluate the number of peaks and valleys, or just peaks really, in the accelerometer data.
And then it finds the amount of steps. That we have 30 points, so right now it's not really detecting it correctly, but
there's
the
actually
code
30 peaks that we found, and these are 10 of them, which, there's not going to be 30 peaks when we take one step or two.
So here it sorts the peaks by their indices, because we get an unsorted result back from this due to the way that it works. And then down below, if you scroll down a little bit, just scroll down. Yeah, if you scroll down, this is our find peaks function, and that below this should be our find steps. So in pedometer, we'll show that real quick. So in find peaks, we analyze a window to the left and right of like about 6 points.
I think exactly 6 points.
Exactly 6 points, yeah. To see if it is the highest point among that like range.
So
and if it is,
like,
then it'll call itself a peak.
Yeah, every point is assumed to be a possible peak or valley, and then we basically just go through and check. I'll just edit it later, but
Sure.
yeah, we just go through and check every point against its neighbors and see if it's locally that's either maximum or minimum, and if it is, then we mark it as a peak or valley and add it to our results. At which point, after we have found all of them that we were looking to find, we return the results of that.
And then to find steps here, we have a little while loop here where we go and check. Basically, the idea of what a step is to us is it's going to be a valley, a peak, and a valley, or a peak, a valley, and a peak. So this essentially does that. So if the first motion is like a downwards motion, we look for an upwards motion in that and then we do the inverse in the first one. And we have a while loop here because the iteration rate might change depending on what we do. Like if we find a step, we want to go forward by 2 so we don't end up double counting the same step. But if we don't find a step, we don't want to go forward by 2. We want to keep going forward by 1 to find the next point that would correspond to a valid step. Right now, to test this, we just kind of move the accelerometer. We could feed it pre-made data if we want to see if it operates correctly. We could also do shaking tests to see if it counts like the minimum. We could identify a proper minimum if we wanted to. But we're probably gonna do that in a little bit of time. The most annoying bug we've encountered so far would be a bug regarding data overflow with our numbers, because when you do a square root, we were having a bit of a problem just determining the magnitude here.
Yeah, when we evaluate this number here, we were originally using pretty large numbers, in the thousands, and if you're going to square a number that is, 4,000 or so, and square a number that's 2,000 or so, and sum these, the value is usually over 32,000, which is a 16-bit integer, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bit of an issue there, so we just made the numbers smaller.
And these numbers here, by the way, we scaled them down. What this would mean here, essentially 10 is equivalent to a fourth of a G, so 40 is about 1 G. 42 is a little bit over 1 G, which is a reasonable thing to expect for one step, that average.
For a rest.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Any clever testing? We just tested maybe a different number of steps. We tested 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we looked for. There's always going to be inaccuracies in this data, like, and especially because our number of peaks was originally 30, and we don't check incredibly many points around it. But
Yeah. I think the most interesting piece of information for our fellow students now that accelerometers are much more annoying to work with than I thought they were.
that's true.
And what we have done here is essentially digital signal processing,
Yeah,
which I didn't expect to come in handy in this course, but I guess it did.
did a little bit.
It's a shame that they're killing 2200. Not really, but
Are they killing it? I thought I was going to take.
oh, no, it's dead. It's gone.
Really?
They're
I was
replacing
like,
it with a different course.
I was like looking for it literally this semester and last
Oh.
semester. I'm like, where is this class?